Today, we have the real reason that Will Ospreay called out Triple H on AEW Dynamite, as well as we're going to talk about Mercedes Mone and how her heat after her signing is after cooling off quite a bit, and I'll break it all down for you coming up on this episode of Wrestle Digest. But before we get into it, we gotta say that 89% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a home, maybe second, third home to wrestling content here on YouTube, you found it right here at Wrestle Digest. But with that said, let's just jump right into it here, and that is the real reason Will Ospreay called out Triple H. And yes, unless you missed all this beef that has been going around, I'm just gonna quickly go over it for you guys here. As we seen previously, Triple H called out an unnamed free agent, which a lot of people speculated to be Will Ospreay, saying how he's not about the grind, how he wanted to take a less schedule-heavy contract with a different organization. And then Will Ospreay went on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday and called out Triple H, said the only thing you know about grinding is on the boss's daughter, and really shot some great shots at Triple H here. And today we actually have a more in-depth reason on why Will Ospreay called out Triple H. And if you want to check out the video of us kind of recapping the whole beef between these guys, we did do a video yesterday, so go check that one out. But the real reason that Will Ospreay did this is because Will Ospreay's promo against Triple H on Dynamite was entirely his idea. It was rumored yesterday that it was Tony Khan's idea, but it come out today that it was actually his idea. He says he felt that Triple H mocked him and his work ethic, despite being fully aware of Ospreay's family situation. And we do see from here, says Ospreay felt that Levesque took a cheap shot at him, despite Ospreay never once knocking at WWE or its talent during his negotiation period. He said, which he felt he had approached with good faith in regards to any interest WWE had in him. Thus, he felt the need to respond. We also see here, this was his exact words on his family situation. He says, Ospreay said in negotiations with both sides that Windsor wanted to stay in the UK with her family because she lost her husband in 2020 to a suicide, and he said he would do everything he could to have him stay in the UK, where she had her family support. He said that everyone he negotiated with was aware of this and thus felt it was a real low blow to make their remark about him. And yes, we've seen this obviously, with this details coming out now, it kind of makes sense why Will Ospreay kind of felt the need to maybe take a shot back at Triple H here. I know we discussed yesterday about, it didn't really seem like the right time, with them after pulling off such a successful Wrestlemania. It didn't make sense for AEW to take a direct shot at WWE through Will Ospreay. But as we've seen today, this was all Will Ospreay's idea. He wanted to respond to this just, because of what happened through the negotiations and stuff like this. He felt like he needed to respond because he felt disrespected a little bit. So it makes sense to me now, today, that all this information has come out, why Will Ospreay did this, and it just makes complete sense. Obviously, I think there is going to be another response on the behalf of Triple H here. I don't think we'll be on TV or anything like that. I think it may be via social media, something like this. Maybe we see an apology, something. You never know what's going to unfold here. But this does make it very interesting because Will Ospreay does say that, Triple H was fully aware of his family situation and that he needed to be in the UK. And we've seen from Will Ospreay saying that, he's traveling to the UK every week and 8 to 10 hour flights. And that's what he talked about in his promo. He's doing 8 to 10 hour flights. So you can't say I'm not addicted to the grind type of thing. So, I mean, it is an interesting kind of beef between Triple H Levesque and Will Ospreay. I think Triple H really wanted to land this guy in WWE, but I think the deciding factor here was probably the whole UK bit. I think maybe him having to travel to the UK weekly or on the bi-weekly basis, depending on the situation he's in, may have put a bad taste in the mouth of WWE, because they like to have their superstars do house shows. They like to have them on their own show, stuff like this. They still have time to travel home, but traveling to the UK every week, it's very admirable that Will Ospreay is doing this, or admirable that Will Ospreay is doing this, but I mean, it is a tough situation to be in when you are a pro wrestler, when you need to be in certain areas of the United States, most likely every single week, traveling around North America, and then you having to travel to UK. So I think that might have been the deciding factor here for Triple H in these negotiations. I would love to see Will Ospreay within the WWE. I think he could have made you know, a great impact here in this company, but obviously he went back to AEW. He took these shots at Triple H, saying, you know, the only grind he has is on the boss's daughter, which I don't agree with at all. I think Triple H came up, you know, at first he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the butler type character, and then he formed throughout the years into the cerebral assassin Triple H, and this wasn't because of Stephanie McMahon. I think Triple H is just, you know, he's a grinder. He loves to do, you know, what he can do to help the wrestling business. We're seeing that now with him in the content role of WWE, but even when he was a wrestler, I mean, multiple time world champion, multiple time Wrestlemania guy, and I just think it's a tough shot. It's hard to say who's right and who's wrong in this situation, because we could hear tomorrow that Triple H wasn't fully aware of this situation, and, you know, he's just making Triple H look bad in this situation, which, you know, it's kind of a sticky one, I'm not going to lie. I think it's hard to kind of pick a side here. I think I'm more siding towards Triple H, because I don't really think that Triple H was fully aware of what Will Ospreay would have to do if he was with WWE. He says he did discuss them in the contract negotiations, but we don't know to the extent of what he discussed them. Obviously, he released the family situation, but maybe he didn't say this in negotiations. Maybe he did. We don't really know. But at the end of the day, this is still a pretty big beef between AEW and WWE. And it will be interesting to see how it goes moving forward and what's going to happen, because a lot of people I've seen online are talking about this being the downfall of the AEW, with them releasing the all-in footage, with this whole stuff between Will Ospreay and Triple H. So I think, you know, Tony Khan had a hand in this. I think that he wants to have a shot at WWE because of how successful their, you know, Wrestlemania weekend was. So it makes sense for him to go forward with Will Ospreay doing this. Do I think it was scripted? No, I think Will Ospreay did this promo on himself. So it will be interesting to see in the coming, you know, couple of days what happens between this situation. Do we get an apology? Do we get another shot? It will be interesting to see. But I want to hear from you guys down below. Who do you think's in the wrong? Who do you think's in the right? Because for me, I think it's a really hard one to kind of decide of who's right and who's wrong in the situation. It might just be tempers boiling over. Who knows? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. We're going to get into the second topic here, which is Mercedes Mone cooling off. And yes, if we take a look here, this is from Reddit here. He says, has AEW ever cooled off a new signing faster than they've cooled off Mercedes Mone? He said he was looking at AEW's YouTube page, and Mercedes Mone's video where she was attacked by a mystery person is currently the second least viewed video from this week's episode of AEW. He says, after a day, it's 55k views, with only Tony Storm's Champagne Toast and Thunder Rosa lower at 52k. Okada versus a jobber is in a promos match at 141k. Mariah May versus Anna James was at 81. Swerve ambushing Joe at 84. Copeland open at 226. Then we got the Bucks all-in footage at 265k. Jericho and Hook 6-man tag at 79k. It says, how did it get to this point? She should not be getting out-drawn by Okada versus a local competitor, or Jericho leeching off Hook. People actively avoid Jericho because of how omnipresent he is on television, and even his clips are more viewed than the latest signing. That's insane. Talking isn't her strong suit whatsoever, but all she'll be doing for 2 months until Double or Nothing, where she has her in-ring debut. I can't imagine how low the views and engagement will be on her videos until she finally wrestles. And yes, I gotta agree with this guy here. I think, you know, Mercedes Mone, Sasha Banks, formerly in the WWE, was one of my favorite female competitors within the WWE, and I think she's done a great job after leaving WWE, becoming Mercedes Mone. But I think AEW isn't utilizing her to the best of her ability. I don't know if she's injured. I don't know. Let me know down below or something like this why she isn't wrestling. I haven't looked into it that much. But I think, you know, with a new signing like this, I think you need to throw her into a match. You need to build up something. You need to introduce your fans to Mercedes Mone. Obviously, people who watch AEW know Sasha Banks. They know, you know, the WWE Sasha Banks. But Mercedes Mone is a whole different character. She's a new, you know, form of Sasha Banks. So you need to introduce your fans to this before, you know, the pay-per-view debut. I think, like they said, I don't think her promos are bad. Me personally, I think they're pretty solid. I think she can talk on the mic pretty well. But when you have someone cutting promos that are, you know, just good or just all right at promos, aren't elite at promos before wrestling, I think that's a tough way to kind of introduce them to your fans. You need to have a match. You need to have a match even within a run-in or something like this to build up the Mercedes Mone character before your pay-per-view. So it makes sense to me why she's cooling off because, you know, obviously when she came out the first time, it was hype. Everybody was excited. Now, after the weeks have gone on, it's after dying down a little bit. They haven't seen her into any action. So it only makes sense for her, you know, YouTube clips to be dying down a little bit. But, you know, Mercedes Mone, I'm a really big fan of Mercedes Mone. I really wish her the best in AEW. I just think the AEW needs to utilize her a little bit better to get her more recognizable within the AEW scene. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your opinions on this down below. What do you think has led to the downfall of Mercedes Mone here in AEW? Do you think they need to give her a match before her in-ring debut? Let me know down below in the comments section. But we're going to get everybody's favorite topic here on the channel, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Lastrell Poet. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that one wrong, but he says, that's an awesome idea. Trios Championship, 3-man tag title division, bring back the Cruiserweight title. And yes, if you missed the video where we were talking about the Shield, I was thinking about maybe like AEW, WWE bringing in a 6-man tag championship, a trios title like AEW has. I think that could really spice up things within the WWE and its new era. I think that could be fun. I think I'd love to see us come back. You have the New Day, Imperium, maybe possibly the Shield. A lot of good trios there, you know, as well. You got like the Alpha Academy, sorry, it was right at the tip of my tongue, there as well, that could be competing for this championship as well. I think this will really spice it up. As for the Cruiserweight title, I don't know, unless they have a show with it, it doesn't really make sense to me. I think, you know, the Cruiserweight title has kind of formed into the North American Championship on NXT. I think that one makes a lot more sense. I don't think you really need to add another mid-card title in here unless they bring back, you know, the show where it was on. I think it was at 905 or something like that. 905 Live, I think it was. So it'd be interesting to see what happens here within the WWE and what route they go in the new era. And I'm really excited for the new era of wrestling. Wrestling is cool again. I love it. But if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road for 1,000 subscribers here on the channel. And if you're looking for daily Place for Wrestling content, we're going to be here every single day, bringing you everything that's happening around the wrestling world. So make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. And if you want to check out a video we did earlier today talking about why Stone Cold wasn't at Wrestlemania, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. We'll catch you in the next one.